Hey guys.
What's up, Craig?
Got a couple things for you. I
Nice.
see you got everything spread out.
Yes.
This is the stuff that came from Dave DeShane.
Indeed.
I have some surprises for you. Take a look at this real quick. And I have another surprise who should be here any minute.
Holy crap.
You said you wanted to take a look at a couple of magazines about the car.
Are you kidding?
There's your magazines. That's not all of them, but that's all I can carry. Hang on a second.
That's crazy.
Hang on.
All right, well, that'll help us, right?
My buddy Dave's here.
What's up,
Hey,
buddy?
what's going on?
What's up, man?
How you doing?
That's sick.
Today is surprise day. Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you, pal.
It's been a minute.
Hey.
What's up, dude?
I like that one.
Hey.
How are you?
Good to see you, brother.
Good seeing you. How you been?
What's up, Dave?
What's up, pal?
All right, so I was showing them some
Dude.
magazines, and they got all
Okay, now-
excited for like 2 minutes.
remember
So these
these.
are way better because look, you can fold them out. Because we were trying to take pictures of the other ones and they were so tightly bound we couldn't get good digital photos.
You had to use 4 hands
Yeah.
and a light taped to the wall.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Check out me and
Way
Mike.
better.
No way.
Check a look at that. That's me and Mike.
Wait, that's your old living room.
That's my old living
I
room.
remember that.
That's funny.
You've been there many times.
Yeah.
A few times when I wasn't there either, according to my wife.
Look at his wall. Look at all of the fast memorabilia on it.
This other
You're
wall
such a
was
geek.
purple.
Such a geek. I love it. Dude, that's awesome.
That story is coming up right after the break. Although I love playing with cars, I actually have other hobbies, believe it or not. Building models has been a hobby of mine since I was 10 years old. I still build models today, focusing mostly on World War II ships, but some of these models take me more than 120 hours to build. And frankly, I find that I don't have that much time to dedicate to building my fleet anymore. So I was thrilled when I learned about this new company called UGears. UGears makes wooden puzzles that are similar to models, but they can be assembled without glue and without special tools. Most puzzles can be built in 3 to 15 hours, which is less than a weekend. There are over 100 different models from which you can choose, including cars, trains, fully functional clock, and even a musical instrument. UGears models are a great gift for adults who enjoy doing things with their own hands. Assembling these puzzles is fun and challenging, and I feel a great sense of pride when I finish one and it actually looks like the picture. So if you're into puzzles, building models, or just like to tinker or create things with your hands, you really need to check out UGears. They're just so much more fun than conventional puzzles. You can use the link below to browse through more than 100 different puzzles. You can also use the link in my video description to unlock a special discount offer. Order soon if you want to get them before Christmas though.
That's awesome.
Oh, wait a second here. What is all this
All right,
shit?
cool.
So we got a bunch of that stuff. So Dave has something way more exciting. I know that we've been having trouble finding parts, and it's not for a lack of looking. I think we've all been looking really hard to find stuff.
Yeah.
Dave DeShane helped us out with a load of parts, which we'll go over in a couple of minutes. But what Dave Jesko just brought is going to be very
see something.
exciting. So why don't you show the guys?
The latest in turbo wastegate tech.
Oh,
Yeah,
how old is
1990.
this?
Nah. This is actually the original style Turbonetics wastegate that was on the RPS manifold that I put on his car.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so I found it in my stuff.
A quick backstory: the turbo that we got and the manifold we got was through Dave, right? So he recommended the RPS manifold, and then we talked to Vinny 10 to spec out a compressor for us. And it was a Turbonetics T66. So we put the turbo on in my garage of that house.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
right?
Remember that?
Yeah, that's like when I was doing a lot of the twins, I'd just taken mine off. I had the thing off in like 2 hours.
Were you still
know.
working for Toyota back
Oh
then?
yeah,
Or-
yeah. That's how ever since I came out to California.
Wow, that's so cool.
Almost 25 years ago.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I've known you almost the whole time.
That's awesome.
What do you got? Show them. They're going to themselves.
Whole Foods.
Yes. Okay, this is all quinoa.
Is this organic?
So it's gonna be really good for you. These are brand new, never used 60 millimeter gauges that was in this car. I
Where'd
bought
you
these
find
for my
these?
car. Never got around to putting them. I bought them.
These were for your car.
They were for my car.
Your Supra.
They were for my Supra. And
The
then
original box.
I
That's
just
so cool.
Yeah, original.
How many do you have?
It's the
It has all of them.
Oh, that's
EGT.
sick. Okay, well, you know how much work
There's
that
the
saved us?
60 millimeter
Now,
boost gauge.
you're gonna sell us these? We can buy these for you?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay, well, there you go.
$14 million.
Yeah, well, that's about right. That's about right.
Oil pressure.
Oh, that's sweet.
And finally,
hamburger's still in
the
the
fuel
box.
pressure. That was the EGT.
Yeah.
That was the fuel pressure.
That is so cool, dude. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for letting these go.
Yeah. So
well, we're getting really close, Craig. I mean, you know, with all the stereo equipment and wow,
Oil pressure, which is on the A-pillar.
that's so cool.
Fuel pressure, A-pillar. EGT on the lower left side of the dash, under the vent, and the turbo gauge on the right side, where next to the clock area.
Yep, I could see them right there.
You know, one of the reasons why I also didn't wind up in my car was I was talking to a few police officers, and I said I built my car like all stealthy, you know, to look completely stock, even though it's not. And I had a cop tell me it's the first thing to look for is A-pillar gauges.
Oh, I'm sure.
When they're going to pull you over
I remember
and stuff,
days.
and I'm like, these aren't going in my car.
Well, especially at night, when they're lit
Right.
up.
Well,
Right.
I mean, the big guy sitting here staring at you in the face.
Well, the rest of the car pretty much is a tell.
Right.
I know, right?
A shopping
It's a bit
cart
of a
wing,
yeah.
right?
See, you know, what I love about this picture, you could really see your offset of your wheel, because we want to correct this as much as we can. And what's kicking our butt right now is the fact that we haven't gotten our body kits yet, because we want to start doing all the body work, but we can't engage in doing any of that until the body kit comes. So
Right.
we want to get the brakes fitted and the wheels fitted. And
This is one thing that I hated about that car, and I was reticent to change it for
The
a
offset.
number of reasons. If you take a look at how far the Bomex kit comes out, right, from the side of the car, look at that freaking gap right there. That's 3 inches, right?
Oh yeah, and then it tapers up on the.
Yeah, and then you have this rear spat that also, when you see it from a different angle, I'm not sure if there's a good picture.
you could see it here too.
Unfortunately, almost
This
up
one
there.
too, yeah.
Oh yeah, you lose half the wheel.
So yeah,
it's
this is a car with the fitment is flush.
Right.
Can't be any better than that. Still, it's going to look dorky because the Bomex comes off another inch and a half. And so if you're looking at it from this angle, it's going to look like it's tucked under. And the back is even worse on the movie car.
I know.
Because you've just got this big fat. Now, if they had made a complete over fender,
Well, and that's
be
what
a
I was going to
different
tell you.
story.
We could do that, but it's not
people
going to
would
be
lose
true.
their.
It's
They
not
would
gonna be true to the
lose their mind.
I mean, the back, that fitment looks decent, even if we were to add the Bomex kit because of how much overhang there is on the bottom section.
and back here, this
So like, if we
fitment
could
will
get
look,
it to fit like this,
I think that we're
the
probably.
Bomex will look better because it clears here once it's cambered in a little bit more and it's out here.
I think we should consider, when we're doing it, before we commit to a firm offset on the wheel, is consider putting what happens with a 5 millimeter and a 10 millimeter spacer.
Oh, that's fine.
Because you don't want to have to take the wheels off and then redo it, you know?
Yeah.
This is a 10.
That's a 10?
Yeah, 10.
That's more than 43 millimeters. 43 will fit in without having to.
On the other one? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
He probably
10
had
plus
43 millimeter.
35.
Yeah.
Usually Supras run what, 10 and a half plus 45?
I have 11
50?
on mine, but I had it made specific
okay.
because I didn't cut my fenders.
Yeah, these are cut.
I have like a fingernail.
Well, this lip is so.
It's wide.
So it brings us to another discussion as we talk about authenticity and accuracy, right? We're having this big discussion. First, the car that we got that Daryl picked up was a 1JZ. So we played with that, gone back and forth, and then we decided collectively that 2JZ is the way we really wanted to go, right? And that's partially because the response of the fans is not the same, yada, yada, yada. So we have a 2JZ, which is out getting built. I see you got some of the parts over there.
Yep.
Cams, valve springs, retainers, and new billet keepers are already on this. We're just gonna
Titanium
change
valve
out the
springs,
studs.
ball bearing turbos.
All that other nonsense you wrote.
I know, right?
So
Yes,
here's the challenge, Dave. You remember the manifold you sourced
Yeah.
for us, the RPS.
Yeah.
It put the turbo parallel
Right.
to the engine. They don't really do that anymore. There's one guy you turned
Yeah.
me on to over in
Larry
India.
at Sound Performance.
Yeah, over
he even matched the runners and everything identically, and the thickness, because they have a very unique sound that everybody likes. They don't sound like any other manifold. The only thing is that to fix for better fitment for bigger turbos,
Yeah.
he did clock it.
Right.
So it does have a little bit of rotation, and he fixed the wastegate problems, because oddly enough, these boost creep.
The little tiny.
The quarter inch of movement that the valve does.
Oh, that's not enough.
I mean, look at that. That's it.
Now you were saying earlier that it was okay for the olden days turbos, but today's turbos, not so much.
Yeah, well, the thing is that they're so high capacity that, you know, it's very difficult, because a lot of people don't focus on wastegate priority when it comes to the manifold. You need to have a straight run into the gate to be able to control boost. And if it's just teed off at a 90-degree angle, they're wildly ineffective. you know, and then you get creep and everything like that. So, I mean, Larry makes a manifold, but I don't know if we could take it and then redo the top flange and actually rotate it, and then from that point we could do whatever one
Can you make the manifold with no flange?
Yeah, I'm sure we could. I could talk to him. I mean, honestly, it's nothing easy enough to just cut off. I mean,
Right.
It's done. You know.
I don't see us using that. For number one, it was never seen.
No.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't recommend doing
Number
that.
two, it was like saying, okay, just because the movie car had an inferior part, which was the peak of technology, well, I shouldn't say the peak of technology, it was common use for that car back then, doesn't mean that you put a part that is now inferior technology-wise to run that car, especially with the performance goals we have. You know, 650 horsepower.
I'm all for, like what we talked about before, is, you know, you do a T4 frame, but the center housing and everything externally, it will look identical. Everything will be identical, but you can have the new compressor with the new technology and everything. So you get the performance of it. And I mean, honestly, those new turbos, you barely have to lean on them. A 67 millimeter turbo now will make 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah, it's more.
Yours on the best day I've ever seen one of those things make was on Chris's car, on Rado's car, it was like 676
Yeah,
horsepower.
we were in
that was
that
where,
Yeah.
and that was all in. That was like lock the wastegate shut and just,
All the boost
know,
it could take.
If it blows, it blows.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of thing. We were about 100 horsepower the way it was tuned back then, less. So there's no interference problems in doing that with the
that same frame turbo and everything, obviously, you know, it'll look the same.
the hot side had a heat shield over it. Remember?
Yeah.
You remember that? The
Yeah,
ABS.
you'll cover everything up, you won't even see anything.
Yeah, so you'll see the front side, and if there's
And-
Turbonetics letters on the side of the side or whatever else, you just grind it off and then polish it, and it'll look exactly the same.
Yeah, yours didn't have anything, if I remember correctly.
Nothing, it was
all
completely
gone.
naked.
And had the white Swain Tech
Yep.
coating on it.
Yep.
So in that, if
What
you,
does he do for his white coating?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was, but
He
all I
said-
remember is that shit would take your skin right off your knuckles the second you slipped
Really?
near it, because it was abrasive
Yeah.
on the side. It lasted forever, and it was great coating, but it was, I mean, to be authentic.
He said he had something that was better than that. I spoke to him on the phone about 3 weeks ago.
Oh, cool.
That was my end. I'm a
Oh,
good
that
friend
was
of
my
Dave
end.
Jesko.
And you click?
Yeah.
How many
And
times
then I called back.
Did you just call somebody else?
We got disconnected. Yeah.
Just say, I'm calling to extend your warranty?
The manifold isn't cheap by manifold standards today, but if you want to do it the right way, I think that's the way we're going to probably have to.
Well,
Yeah.
I think we talked about sound. Going back to that, you said the Future Fab is the closest for sound, but this is a Future Fab, and even if we were to do like a modern T4 frame, if we clock it, this compressor is like literally
Yeah,
right
and
next to the runner, and then
Yeah, and that's the thing, is I don't know if he brought it up, if he brought it in.
I think, and
Or
I
if he
asked
did.
him if he could make one with it pushed out, and it's the same thing. I mean, he'd have to do it by eyeball. He doesn't have a jig to make one that comes further out.
If you look at the RPS though, I mean, it comes down like
Yeah,
And then it's
way
straight.
down and comes
And
straight.
then it's straight up.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think if we could get one and talk to him about what it would take to kind of move stuff over, because that's what everybody's done, is rotate them clock. And then with the heat shield on it, we can go with a bigger, like 5-inch downpipe or something, or a 4-inch downpipe, which will actually help response tremendously. You know, I did that on a friend's car. They had a 3-inch downpipe, and I'm switched to a 5-inch. It was in Guam, and they changed that over, and I did nothing else.
And it picked up.
And it actually wound up, when it launched, did Caltrac spars, it was a little Tacoma pickup truck they had.
Yeah.
And it actually twisted the axle tubes because it was on. You know, it was making like 30 pounds of boost at the line instead of 10 pounds of boost, and it just wobbled the drivetrain.
So Dave jumped out
Yeah.
and high-fived
Yeah.
himself.
Yeah, they're like, "What did you do?" I'm like,
It's like a red badge of courage, man.
Yeah.
You
So
brain twisting.
it just makes it a lot more linear and stuff like that. And that's the beauty of that shield, is that you can hide everything under it.
Right.
I think that's the plan.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go.
Just either with twin 38s or a single 50, I guess.
I say we stay
do
with the
single.
T4 frame style. The compressors are basically that same style and everything, and just run new guts. And I've got people I know that we can talk to about getting something like that built.
When are we going to be ready for that, you think?
We need to get the parts
Yeah.
anyway, because everything's a delay. So we might as well order manifold and figure out who's going to build the turbo and get the parts going.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Jeff over at Full Race.
Because once that body kit arrives, we're going to move pretty quickly on the body and paint work.
Tomorrow I'm going to Stitchcraft to go inspect the interior stuff. He should be pretty much done. I saw him stitching up the front panels He did a post on Instagram and Facebook. So
Are they still over at 405 and 22?
he moved. They moved.
Right.
He moved to a smaller shop. This guy's been doing it since the 1970s. He was literally in like junior high school when he started working on interiors.
It's the way that
guy-
He's done work for Chip Foose and all these other pro builders, right? They farm out their interior work to him. So, you know, he's a boutique shop. He takes only the jobs that he wants. It's hard to get in there. If you get in there, you're not really getting a deal from the guy because these other guys pay $30,000, $40,000 for a full interior.
He doesn't need to.
He doesn't need to. He doesn't need the work, you know?
And then on the new turbo setup with the new guts, water cooled or just?
I was just thinking that. I
Because
can't
the
remember if
original
that
one
thing was
didn't-
water cooled. I don't
it
remember.
wasn't.
I don't think it was.
From what
was
I
it?
could see on the pictures, I only see the oil line
Well,
and nothing there.
we could talk about that because like a journal bearing one or something, they shed a lot of heat, and even the ball bearing ones now can take not having
the coolant attached.
the coolant and stuff into it. But we'll have to defer. Oh, well, that's a big thing. I guess we have to talk to them and say, is like, can you build this so it doesn't need it, or do we want to try to do it? I really don't think we'll need to.
Not that big
It's
of a
not
deal.
going to sustain that high of loads for a long
No.
period of time where it's going to need it.
No.
What do we do for an intercooler? Do we get
It's
an
supposed to only be
intercooler
a
yet?
10-second car.
You got to call. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, whose idea was that to write that in the script?
Yeah. What was the old joke? It was like, what's the difference between a 1,000 horsepower Supra and a 400 horsepower? They're both 12-second cars. Back in the day.
Yeah. But they all run 124 miles an hour traps.
speed trap.
Yeah. Remember that too is funny doing I never forget when he was sitting out with all the ETs and then mile an hour stuff for the race horse stuff. And he's like, all right, I need your help getting these numbers and stuff like that. And he goes, okay, I got a 1075. What's the mile an hour for it? I'm like, import? 169. You know? he goes, all I got is 128. He goes, okay, well, that's a 14-second car. And I was like, they're numbers. Can you just switch them around? It'd make more sense to be 182.
That's funny.
You know?
Really?
But yeah, they had the set numbers and stuff like this, and I was like, none of these numbers match anything. I was like, this is a domestic car maybe, but
That's funny.
A car running on 275 or 285 3019 is not going to get traction with street suspension and a UHP tire. It's not going to happen at full tire pressure.
As far as mechanical though, we still need intercooler. We still need radiator,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, you need to
Was it
call
Greddy?
Greddy
Yeah, Greddy
4-core.
intercooler.
Greddy's 4-core radiator had the pipes were a wrinkle finish like sky blue, not dark blue, not navy
Yeah, I
blue,
remember.
not even that blue.
it's like true, like a Krylon True Blue.
Yeah,
if
it's-
Can you
I
see that
remember
in the
correctly.
pictures?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can see it because that's where the NOS is tapped into.
You stop
on that
calling it
pipe.
NOS?
Yeah,
Nitrous.
we gotta stop
Sorry.
that. Right there.
Yeah, this
There.
one.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Well, that one too.
It was close, wasn't it close to the color of the couplings?
Yeah.
Does the HK? I have the old original HKS blue couplings. If it helped, like bring us a color sample if it was similar.
If we can get that same intercooler, or as I recall.
It was a Greddy?
Yeah.
I think they still make them.
I don't. Well, I think they make it, but not that pipe. I've looked. I've even looked for used. I've looked multiple times.
That's
Nobody-
Greddy one?
That's embarrassing.
Well, I know the guy that works
No,
See?
because the car.
That's what I'm
bad
talking
guys.
about. That's
Oh.
horrible.
Okay.
Schwartz and Sean.
Yeah.
Adriano.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We're gonna
That's
fix that.
crazy, man. I hated that about that car.
Well, is it still because like this comes out so far?
Right.
Yeah.
This is like 4-inch out from here. It's like so if you look straight down the car, you see it go out like flare out like this.
What you will notice if you're paying attention that there is no seam here where the side skirt's attached.
molded.
Because it was all molded in with some kind of urethane filler, as I recall. And so all you had is a tiny, this little area
That's
right
the
here.
line right
where
there.
you
Yeah,
had
that's
this
what
crease.
the line's right here.
Yeah, Craig. That's
I see
lined
the
it
No,
line.
wait a minute.
They
You're
put it
looking,
into the rocker.
you're looking at
Yeah,
this.
he's
This. There was just a dip where you do like bathroom molding.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, caulking.
Oh, so it's
just-
together.
Yeah.
They just use seam sealer. It's just seam sealer.
Whatever it is.
And they
So
paint
when
over
you
it.
when you snag it with the jack, you're screwed.
You're
Yeah,
at
you're
it.
Because got the whole.
yeah, you're gonna separate the
You do
cockpit.
the whole damn
For
car.
sure.
What cams did you say you're doing?
BC 272s.
That's an aggressive cam. This thing doesn't
Yeah.
have any cams in it.
No, I didn't.
If you do 264s,
264s.
264s, you're gonna have a nice quiet idle. But
This
get
one
the
has
performance out of it.
272s, but it's not lopey. And then it has the idle kick up for AC through the Infinity.
Yeah.
If somebody sends me a message on YouTube, it's not the same cam you had in the Supra, I'm going to tell them to go
the
pounce out.
Supra had
At
stock
factory cams, yeah. Yeah, the 260, I run 264s in mine. I'll be changing that out, but 264 is just glass idle.
The sounds were not edited for the Supra as far as I can tell.
Okay.
Because if you hear the car coming down when it pulls up to the Charger, you know, it's exactly, and I spent a lot of time in that car. It didn't sound any different. They didn't edit the sounds for the Maxima. the supercharged Maxima. They didn't edit those. Everything else was edited. There was multiple tracks for these cars. They would take, like the RX-7 was part 1 JZ, part 2 JZ, part, they actually use like diesel engines, lions, tigers, bears. Right, nothing rotary to my knowledge.
Well,
It didn't sound anything like a rotary.
No, they had the white car that was out at Race Wars. I thought they took some samples out of and they slipped into one section of the movie, if I remember right.
Which car?
Jetta?
It was the white one.
The
one I
white
was,
RX-7
Chris
that
G's
raced.
RX-7, yeah, the one that got stolen
Lady.
afterwards.
It got stolen?
Oh yeah, got stolen right out in front of Universal.
I remember racing. We stopped filming.
remember that car.
So I brought my friends. It was formerly Toyota's HKS built car, and it was the one that Mario Andretti drove for Car and Driver magazine and all that stuff like that. So it's Edwin Manguni,
Oh,
good close
that
friend
Supra?
of ours. Yeah,
Silver
that was
one?
yes, his
Okay.
car. And I remember I drove that car there, but to get Toyota to sell it to him because he was HKS manager at the time, so they weren't legal was not going to let us sell this car. So I literally took all the stuff off of my car, took the HKS turbos and all that stuff that they had on this thing, took it all and made it all back to stock, except for the intercooler and the lowering springs. And so he bought that car and it was still relatively stock. My car was all apart at the time, and when you asked to do the racing stuff, I was just talking to Edwin, and I'm like, this is a bummer. I got an opportunity to do this. My car's in a million pieces. I can't put it back together in time, and blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, take my car. I trust you, and stuff. So I said, okay. So I brought it out there. And the first day I went out there, it was still basically stock and everything. And so I was getting greased by a lot of people when we were doing the race and stuff like that.
It's a movie.
Right? I know. So
He couldn't
so
take it.
I see. Yeah, and this
I
also
wanna
goes back to the
lose.
nobody says Supras can launch. I know how to drive. I've been racing my whole life and stuff like that, right? And so I called him up and I said, dude, I'm getting my handed to me out there in this car. And I'm gonna put
Not
some power in
granny
it. And he
shifting
goes,
like you
I
should.
trust you. Yeah, right. He goes, I trust you. So the next day I came back, like 500 horsepower to the wheel now.
Oh, is that right?
I took everything off of my car and stuff and put it on this car and stuff. And the next day I came back, and so the guy at the RX-7, we were
Chris
joking
G,
around.
yeah.
Chris. And so he thought he had the fastest car there, and I said, I'll take you, and stuff. And so,
So you
he
guys
may remember
actually-
differently.
You actually did it on set? out
Oh,
there?
yeah. But there was a great part. He sets the whole thing up. Well, apparently, they were filming a scene, something, and he's there doing his finger coolness, and he launches.
That's what you're
He
known for.
did it. It's true. And he set us up and launched this. I'm not beating him. He goes, but it was funny because they stopped filming. I remember Cohen and stuff. He told me later. He goes, it turned around. And everybody was watching us race.
That's cool.
On that, but it was funny. That was a good.
Because
time.
most of the
that's
cars
awesome.
are, they take up because there were a bunch of stock cars for the most part, 200 horsepower. And they go, and there's a dip right there too. Chris Cheese Lane had a dip. There's like a drain there. So everybody had to move a little further to the left and so forth. But I didn't think anybody was going to be actually out there racing. They just ran through. And the other part of this is that there was an active runway at the end of the run. So the fast cars, if they're doing 130 plus, are going to have a hard time slowing down before they get into the cones for the active runway. And so we got briefed on that like every couple of hours. These guys are getting close. There's guys are getting close.
Wow, that's cool.
And it was him.
Yeah.
Probably.
It was him in the white
now that I
Supra.
learned.
No, it
busy
was.
there those days.
Yeah, well, and they put dust all down. And I'm like, anybody with any kind of power like that, we're going
not
through
gonna
this
lay it
grease
down,
and
yeah.
The
stuff.
dust just to make it look like they're going fast.
Was HKS in Carson at the time?
I believe so.
I remember
so.
that car. I had a white R34
We had two of
GTR
them.
at HKS.
We had two of
at
them.
that
The first one was the silver car, which was the car that I got the Reese for the scene where he's in the hood,
Right.
Inside the-
and that. And then that was the original. That was a pre-production car, so it couldn't be sold. And the other one was literally just a car we just took off
Off a
the
lot.
floor. It was a Quicksilver one. That car still has 40,000 miles on it.
Who
full
owns that car
HKS.
now?
Edwin still does.
Oh, no
They
way.
still
Yeah,
have-
I won't let anybody touch that car.
Of course.
I just saw pictures of it online on
It's
something.
at Rado's shop right now because
Okay.
they're looking at something, but they just actually had like John Kuriyama, the original tuner from HKS.
Oh yeah.
That's
was,
so cool.
was we were
John
talking
used to be in our car club, Art in Motion.
Yep, we were talking to him.
Brilliant
love that
guy,
guy.
another brilliant guy.
Brilliant dude and stuff. And they've got over there. They're checking some stuff out, but I got to go take a look at it. The problem is it's got a V Pro on it, the Pro, so you got to have the dongle and stuff to connect to it and everything. And they were looking at it. There's something going on with it, but it is a 100% everything that HKS sold
It's in that car.
is in that car.
love
I did the twin kit, which I will never ever do again.
Yeah.
The HKS twin kit is a nightmare.
2835s.
Oh, dude, it's so
Fucking
bad.
hell, my
remember
buddy.
those.
Nick
But
just
it's
put
such
one.
a great driving car, and he's got Mario Andretti's signature on the thing. I mean,
Oh,
it's,
no way.
And the
Speaking
car,
of-
the car's so well taken care of because it looks like it was built yesterday.
That's
Speaking
so
of
cool.
HKS, we have a VPC and a GCC coming.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
I have a GCC.
What the were you when I
Brand new. I told you.
jack off?
Brand new. Never been used.
That's okay. We have one that's almost new, and it has everything. We had a GCC,
Well, now he's not
a
using it, so he's not
VPC,
putting
and
it-
a
know, right?
IPM.
Yeah.
Injection pulse.
Pulse one.
They're just going to be for decoration because we're not going to hook up. We're using
No,
an
AM.
AEM system this time.
You know.
Is there anybody in California you could say to recommend to just open it and see the synchros before we spend the time to put it in the car?
The guy, I think it's Mike's transmission or whatever.
Okay.
I could call him. He's off the 5. He did a transmission for somebody, I know, and he bought a bunch of parts off me. But a lot of people are hesitant to even bother cracking them because of that.
Yeah.
If anybody rebuilt it, I mean, there's really only a few guys that are really known for doing them. Quite
Well, we'll
frankly.
know. We'll know soon.
And
Jax has a good reputation. He does the GR6
Yeah.
transmissions and the
Yeah.
R35.
Jack,
so.
Jack's to me, Jack's the guy.
Okay.
If it's just the synchros, it's not a big deal. The problem is though, is if the gear, the teeth on the gear for the synchro, if they're spent, then you need a gear. But things are coming. I'll just say that. I'll just say that.
That's all he can say.
That's all I will say.
Classified. He can
Things
tell
are
you.
coming.
He can tell you, but he'd
Yeah.
have to.
But he'd have
Yeah.
to
So I guess I've been helping with TMC with getting the heritage parts
Oh, that's
and stuff like that. It's my
Well, thank
contact
you.
list. Yeah. I got the cylinder heads redone a long time ago. They were going to cancel the GTE cylinder heads.
Right.
We were still selling 10 a month, at least 10 to 30 a month,
And they were gonna cancel.
and they were going to cancel them because the molds wore out. And so I wrote I guess a compelling enough letter to the parts guy out here. One of our guys in our national parts organization knows me super stuff. So as soon as something's going to get discontinued, I know about it way in advance and stuff.
Thank you.
And he was telling me, and yes, everybody, I'm trying to get interior panels.
Yeah. Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be awesome?
And
Yes,
floor mats.
Yes,
with-
every time.
Floor mats,
Yes.
please. Yes, we need
And
floor mats. You didn't think about
yeah,
that.
so they were going to cancel it and stuff like that. And I wrote a thing saying, you were talking to Akio wants to get back into motorsports. The 2J's are arguably our most legendary engine. It's being put in domestic vehicles and stuff like that. You want to keep any kind of racing heritage we have, it's going to be, with the 4th generation Supra, it's going to be the 2J.
Well, God
And so
bless
they-
you for doing that, because
You're doing God's work,
I'm
really.
trying to.
Yeah.
No, because I got a freaking car and I don't want to be able to.
Right, yeah.
no, that's fantastic.
And they
selfish,
still
but-
sell the GTE short block, don't they? Assembled?
I think that's gone.
Is it gone?
I think it's
okay.
gone.
So the
There's
guy
some people
that
that
was on
hoard
YouTube
There's
bought
there's some
one
people
of the
that hoard
latest
them
ones,
and stuff
yeah.
and have them, and there's a lot of dealerships and places that are buying stuff.
And sitting on it.
Yeah, and that's kind of tough. I'm really kind of against that, quite frankly. With
Sitting
just
and,
slapping
marking
on
it up.
parts or
Well, they're
people buying
hoarding it
parts.
for a big payday at one point.
Yeah.
If they're going to hand it to their friends and someone needs it, then that, God, that's fantastic.
Right.
But, like this.
Everything I
thank you.
trade on those things like that I consider precious. My dad's got a ’66 Mustang that there's not a freaking part he can't get on that damn thing.
Well, sure, yeah.
And stuff like that. And my '93 Supra, half the is unavailable.
Yeah.
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 Pardon me for swearing, but it
No, it's true.
makes me mad.
Yeah,
honestly.
It sucks, yeah.
It's true.
We owe him for these gauges.
Yep.
We should probably check out all this.
Oh, yeah, you haven't seen this
Yeah.
stuff in detail yet, Craig.
So
all
the
the
irony
not
of all of
new
this
stock.
is that when Dave was building his car, he contacted me, I gotta say 2017, 2018, something like that. Say, I'm trying to find these parts, yada, yada, and I'm telling everybody these parts have been discontinued for a long time. The guy who sourced these parts from me, he's still alive and kicking, and so I reached out to him. Where can we get these parts? Nowhere. They're discontinued. Some of that stuff was Japan-only stuff.
Oh, right.
Oh, thank you for putting that in my car so we can. Nobody knows
So you
you're
can't
going to
find it
rebuild that car
anymore,
again, and least of all me. So some of the stuff we just couldn't get. Like this is the CDC 635, which is the CD changer, which is going to be fun because there's no bloody bracket, so someone's going to be making a bracket for that. CD cartridge. What is this?
Up here,
Is it that one?
Oh, these are the front door speakers.
the airbag. No, it's just so cool to seeing it in the picture. This is exactly the one that took the airbag place.
Speaking of children, have you seen a VCR player before?
What's that?
Exactly.
All right. This isn't the exact same VCR, but you will never find that. You will never find the actual one, so it doesn't matter. It's a 12-volt one. And then the company that was making the fog lights was a company called Road Boy, run by a crazy woman named Allison something or other, who had an operation down in Florida. She was Canadian. She had a husband, Ed. And she bullied her husband to no end, and so I was very happy to see where that company went out of business. But basically, they were buying cheap.
He knows that.
Because I was a consultant for them for about 3 months, and I said, I'm not going to take your money because you don't listen to what we're say. So what are you paying me for? There's some ethics kind of going on here. If you don't listen to a word I say, you don't need me. They were basically buying their fog lights from this company. This is a company that makes these parts for Navigator and Pia, and so they were just a cheap Chinese version.
But hey, they will. Oh, and they come with the brackets. Nice. All right.
That's brand new in the box.
On the VCR.
Yeah.
Where's the head units? He sent you 2 VRX 8271s.
In a box with a bunch of
Okay, so
wiring.
we have 2 of the stereo systems with the flip-up screens.
Got it.
He told us that we're going to need to lube the belt for the CD
Right.
drive and all that kind of. And then it won't work without this. I think you have all the wires and these connectors.
That's what's all in that
There's
box,
a box full of wires.
So we're going to have to give it to a good audio person who's going to know how to do this. This is the proper number, 7101.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bring him back to clear out.
So. And people don't realize that
What are these guys?
these are the crossovers.
California?
So when you have
Something
bass,
California?
and then you have a signal comes out of an amplifier, right? And see if I understand this quicker. Signal comes out of an amplifier, right? It's power. And then if you want to have these speakers only produce or reproduce certain frequencies, like, you know, your tweeter goes tss, 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 and the mids are for the mid-range, the voices, that kind of stuff.
How's the mid-range go?
Hey,
You invited me, man.
It's the voices, whatever jam I mean, what are you listening to? Barry Manilow these days?
Oh, yeah, at
Still
least,
have that
yeah.
CD I gave you for your birthday?
I have the cassette tape.
Anyway, that's what it is. So you had mids and tweets up front, and then you have the woofers behind the driver's seat, which were angled up, which reminds me, I gotta
Could you
check.
see these?
No, of course not.
was
That's
gonna
not
say.
something you would typically display.
Yeah.
Unless you had a big crazy sound system in the trunk and you wanted to display it. Typically that goes in the door.
Cool.
Those are brand new. New old stock underneath the CD changer.
Oh, these?
Oh, the
are
image
subs,
dynamics?
aren't they? Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen them.
Or not.
Dynamics.
You know, it sounds to me like we have the vast majority of the stuff, other than the 2 more amps that we need to find.
It's gonna be hard.
Well, if not, what are we going to do? Replicate them?
Yeah, well, what would Dennis do? When you
Replicate 'em.
He would recommend, they would make a vacuum form part, right? Right, they would paint it the same color, they'd drill all the holes,
Yep.
get a sticker for the logo, and put a real amplifier inside that case.
Can we find 2 more amps on Facebook or somewhere?
TD 475, I mean TD 1500s, Rot's a ruck, pal.
I mean, even if they're not exactly the same, they look similar. I see them online occasionally. You sent me a whole bunch
Well,
of them. Yeah, they're $1,000.
that car looks like a Toyota Camry to me, 2011 Toyota Camry.
It's not a Camry.
I know it's not. You see what I'm saying?
I know.
But
I know.
people are going to lose their mind. I mean, it's just, that's not the same amplifier. Sounds like my wife.
Well, then find me
Sorry,
one.
honey. She doesn't watch my show anyway. Who cares? So, good stuff. What is that about?
Well,
Are you collecting all the cars? What are you doing?
this. So you know this is not the Charger. Yes, I did buy a Charger. That's
wrong
not
year.
it. That's a '68.
Wrong
right.
year.
Wrong year.
Fenders are
That's
wrong.
part of our. That's
Bumpers
part of
wrong.
our Bullet series build,
Ah.
and we did a whole. This is our Charger. This one is the.
This is a Charger.
This is going to be the Toretto Charger right here. And this car,
What are you doing?
this is the nicest
Stop
one I
it.
could find.
No, come on.
Torque
Come
Thrust
on.
D's.
This was the nicest one I could find.
I was joking when I said that you looked a little bit like Vin Diesel.
Oh, that's cold.
I don't look anything like Vin Diesel.
God.
No, this is a
What do you-
U-Code 1970 Charger, so it's a big block. I looked high and low, as you know, we mentioned it before, and it just makes sense to have this car built next to the Supra.
Oh my God.
So we're gonna put a massive blower. I'm either gonna do a Hemi, or I haven't decided yet, but I'm looking for a Hemi. I'm gonna see Dennis McCarthy.
You're going to build a hero car? Or you're going to build the...
I'm gonna build a
Stunt car.
I'm gonna build a
The Hero.
Probably a replica of the Hero car.
Okay.
So there's a few things I'm a little concerned about is I don't know that I want to put the aluminum panels in this. This is a really nice car.
Oh boy, here we go.
This is not a rust bucket. It's actually a
There are
really
two
decent
more
car.
being built right now that I know of. My friend Alshad,
Yeah.
who just had his Prelude stolen and recovered,
Yeah.
and so he's got one. He's putting the plastic door, or the proper door. I mean the OE
door panels.
new old stock door panels on it and all that kind of stuff. He wants a nice interior car as well.
Yeah.
So I guess it really comes down to what do you want? Do you want a comfortable driver? Do you
No,
want
I don't want air conditioning. We're gonna just do it right. I'm gonna talk to a handful of different people. This car, believe it or not, I have a bunch of these. This is gonna be a lot easier to build for me than the Supra.
Yeah.
So
That's straight.
Easier to find parts.
now a 70 Charger, believe it or not, is not easy to get parts for. A 68, a 69, easy peasy. A 70 Charger, a used fender, I could sell this fender for $2,800.
Whoa.
No problem. That fender I need to replace. I just found a good used one, and I had to pay $2,200 for it.
You got
But,
your work cut out for this, man.
It's not bad.
No, it's not terrible.
It's not bad. I mean, this
Mostly
had a vinyl
surface,
top
yeah,
on it at
mostly
one point.
surface.
So we're gonna make it all black, and I can order new glass, and this thing's gonna be sharp. You know what's sad is I can have all the parts for this car before the rest of the Supra stuff shows up.
That's really sad.
Isn't that sad?
Your people at Toyota are sleeping on the job over there. I don't know what's going on. So what are you going to do with it? You're actually going to put a blower, a big BDS on it? Tom?
Do it exactly the Mooney setup. We're gonna do it just like the movie car. It's going to be an exact replica.
So you're going to have a fake supercharger attached to the hood?
No, it's going to be. I want it to have some balls. So the idea is to build it side by side, I think, and we're going to have fun with these two cars. Why not? I've always wanted to do a 70 Charger. I've never had a 70 Charger.
There's a lot to like about a 70 Charger. It's probably my favorite year as well. I think a lot of people will say the same thing.
Yeah.
Largely because of the movie, but for me it was the taillights.
Yeah. Well, they're really similar to a 69. The front end's different on a 70, but 69, 70s are very similar.
I like the chrome around the bumper on the front of the 70.
That's a 70. There you go. That's your difference.
It's funny, when I first saw those cars when I was a young man, one thing I really, really liked was this line here, this edge right here. It was just really cool. And the other thing that I liked, or didn't like, is that this bumper, right, the hood is it's probably not aligned right now, but even on the ones I saw, it feels like they put this bumper on to take up all this gap in here because the production quality was not good.
Yeah, these
these aren't 3mm channels I could see on a Toyota or a Lexus.
No, these things were coming out of the factory all cattywampus. But we're going to make it laser straight. This car's going to look the part.
Everything you touch is amazing. So
it's going to be a fun car. I'm really excited about this build. So I was just so stoked to find one.
Then you know what we should do? Just for fun and shit.
Go back to
I'm looking for a Paul Walker mask right now, right? They're one of those things you stick in front of your head.
I know, right?
We can go down to San Pedro over there on Tuna Street on Terminal Island and line up there. We did that a year ago, December this month.
I remember that.
We brought Juan Kozakart's Supra over there in a buddy's Charger. I don't think it was the same color now that I think of it, but I wasn't paying attention. But we lined up there on a Sunday morning, and the whole works over there were moving cargo across the street, stopped, and everybody came over. I'm pretty sure we were responsible for the start of the backlog at the port in Long Beach.
That's cool.
Maybe my ego's a little big, but it's pretty funny to think about.
No, we'll have some fun. We'll definitely have some fun. These cars, come on, you gotta build its sidekick. The Supra needs a sidekick.
Well, by that logic, we need to build an R34 GTR next.
Well, oh my God, don't get me started.
Don't get me started. We're not going down that path.
No, that's too tricky.
That's just too much.
Well, you're going to Germany, right? So you
Yeah,
gotta go see Peter.
good. I'll see
You
Peter.
gotta go see Peter and go see the blue car.
His buddy Peter over there at, what's the name of the place again?
GTA.
GT.
Yeah, or GT International, I think is what it's called. But yeah,
They're in Munich.
he's a great guy, and he bought the car for me, the fourth movie, the Bayside Blue car, and I sold it to him, and we had to get it back from the feds. We got it back from the feds, and he ended up buying it, and he's had it ever since. And he should get that car gets so much attention over there. He just built a brand new dealership, and it's not far from Chrome Cars, I guess.
Yeah, they're buddies.
They're buddies. They know each other real well, and what is it called? World
of Motors.
Auto World.
Auto World.
And that car gets just an enormous amount of attention over there.
I can't believe he puts it out there. It's in a mall, basically.
It's in a mall. He's right next to Bugatti. I think it's either Bugatti. I think it's Bugatti he's next door to.
And people just walk by the cars.
Wow.
Just crazy. I mean, in California, in the USA, people would be sitting on the hood like they did on the 400R Nismo.
Oh.
That was at SEMA.
Yeah.
That
I
thing
heard about that.
Yeah.
No.
I just remember all the models trying to lean up against your car when you were at SEMA. And some of the guys come by and they're like, the girls are just gonna lean up. What are you doing? You know? And like, oh, we're taking pictures. Your car's gonna be a thing. It's like, okay, how much you paying me?
Right.
He goes, I just spent all this money so you can go make money on the calendar.
I
never thought of that.
There was one girl, she put her foot like right here, like she's gonna get up there, and I said, And so what does she do? She leans back in the car. I said, are you my girlfriend? You're not naked. There's only 2 ways you're getting on that car. You're my girlfriend or you're naked. Which is gonna be? She looked at me like I was an asshole.
Yeah.
I remember in 08, I brought my right-hand drive R35 GTR to a big, huge Japanese car show, and I had that same issue. Everybody was photographing it and taking pictures and sitting on the hood, and I was a nervous wreck.
People's fascination with wanting to touch somebody else's things. I don't get it.
Thankfully, girls have OnlyFans now. If they really want popularity, they can start a channel and they can do it at home and they can make money.
Yeah, well, there you go.
They don't have to go to car shows anymore.
Right, and hope that their 24 kilobyte picture is going to appear on overboost.com. His wife is amazing.
Wow, you're stepping it up, huh?
Oh, you're not
How
there
long
yet.
you been with her?
7 years.
7
She
years?
doesn't want to get married.
Wow, how did you hit the jackpot?
I'm in the same boat.
She doesn't want to get married?
I don't.
You know what? She made a great point. We both have our own houses. And she says, every night we choose to be with each other. We don't have to be with each other. So every night I drive to her place, or the next night she drives to my place.
It's kind of shit I feed my wife this morning. I said, I'm so lucky.
I actually know,
I'm the
because
luckiest-
there are
That
times
makes
it's
sense.
like, I don't want to see you. I got stuff to do, whatever, or I'm mad or whatever.
I'm okay with
Yeah,
that.
in this day.
I said to my wife this morning, I'm so lucky I have a beautiful, wonderful, intelligent, caring, loving woman in my life. And she's coming over right after you go to work. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Don't forget to watch the shows that are being produced by these guys at Just Driven on their YouTube channel. They get into the nuts and the bolts and the actual assembly work. You can tell that because my fingernails will still clean. But definitely follow and subscribe to their channel. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. We'll see you next time. We'll have more progress. We're going to actually be working on the car the next time we come back, right?
Indeed.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.